Hello. Today I'll be speaking about the topic biosphere. Aristotle introduced two methods of classification of organisms in the 4th century BC. They are accordingly artificial classification and natural classification. So what is artificial classification? In artificial classification, the external appearances of organisms and habitats are not considered. For example, plants can be considered ornamental plants, herbal plants, and poisonous plants. Animals can be grouped as animals without wings and without wings, but this method isn't that accurate and not much successful. This is the great Aristotle who introduced that method. But rather than artificial classification, natural classification is much more accurate. Natural classification depicts the evolutionary relationships among living organisms. In natural classification, morphological, physiological, cytological, and molecular biological features of organisms are considered. Natural classification possesses the below features, explains the natural relationships among organisms of the same species, explains evolutionary relationships of different organisms. Those are the features of natural classification. This is a chart that I included to show the differences between the scientific classification of Homo sapiens and Cocos, Eukarya, Nucifera, about the coconuts and modern humans. So let's go on forward. In natural classification, there are three domains of classification. In 1990, Carl Schwarz introduced another classification system with three domains. The three domains are domain Archaea, domain Bacteria, domain Eukarya. This is a chart showing those three domains and separately the microorganisms that belong to those three domains. So at first I will be talking about domain Archaea. The organisms belonging to this domain are prokaryotes. They can live almost anywhere on Earth. They are not sensitive to most antibiotics, so they cannot be destroyed with antibiotics. Some examples are methanogens and halophils. Domain Bacteria. It is the second domain type that comes under the natural classification of organisms. The organisms that belong to this domain are also prokaryotes. They are the most abundant group of organisms. They also can be found in everywhere in the environment. Bacteria, cyanobacteria are some examples for the domain Bacteria. The third domain that comes under natural classification is domain Eukarya. There are 4 kingdoms belonging to this domain. They are respectively kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia. So that's all I included in this presentation related to the biosphere lesson. I hope you all enjoyed my presentation. Thank you for listening.